Our first speaker and our featured speaker, our keynote speaker for today, it is a tremendous honor for me to introduce. Our speaker has been a Toastmaster for over 35 years. In 1990-91, his team led District 52 to distinguish district status. It was the first of 4 years in a row that District 52 was distinguished. Alfred served as an international director from 1995 to 1997, and on the executive committee of Toastmasters International from 1998 to 2003. The highlight of that time was when he served as our international president in 2001 to 2002. Alfred remains active in 4 clubs and is an officer in 3 of those clubs. He is also serving as a mentor to 20 top 3 district leaders around the world. Today, he will share his approach to Speechcraft, which is our #1 membership building tool. This approach works best for low membership clubs that need a quick infusion of 12 new members. Using the techniques he will share in this session, Alfred has had an 80% success rate in converting Speechcrafters to members. Please join me in welcoming distinguished Toastmaster, past international president, Alfred Herzing.
Thank you, Madam District Director. District 33, good morning. It's great to see you all. Thank you for being here. I am going to share my screen and let's see if this will work. Let me know if you see the Speechcraft slide here. And I thought I had already started the slideshow. Let me try it again. There we go. You see the slideshow, see the slide?
Yes, we do.
All right, great. I want this to be an interactive session, so feel free to interrupt me and ask questions as we go. I know we do have 10 minutes of Q&A afterwards, so if it's something you feel can wait, fine, but I don't mind being interrupted. If you put it in the chat, I have David is there monitoring that. He'll be interrupting on your behalf and doing this. I just did a quick look at the TI website and I saw that there's only 4 clubs in all of District 33 that are already at 20 members. And so this is something that I think could be applicable to almost all of your clubs, getting back to 20 members. And as was mentioned in my introduction, Speechcraft is our #1 membership tool. So what's the big deal with the low membership clubs? So what? Why? And why is 20 a magic number? Does anybody know why 20 is the magic number in Toastmasters? In order to charter a club, you have to have 20. 20 is the number we want in the Distinguished Club program as well. If you have like 12 members, if you add 5, you'll get the credit for the DCP and qualifying for the program. But otherwise, if you're at 17, you have to get to 20. Why is 20 the main big number? Anybody know? This is where you unmute and you can participate.
20 allows for a good club meeting experience for all club members.
Right. Okay.
It takes into account that all members can't make every meeting, so you won't have people doing multiple roles.
Exactly. If you look at,
also makes it easier to share the duties of the officer position, so you're not overloading just
right. Exactly. Your club experience might vary, but typically it's about 13 roles roughly in a club meeting. And with 20 members, like was mentioned, not everybody can make every meeting. You can have a situation where you don't have people doubling and tripling up with a low membership club. So, the problem is for leadership, the same officers turn over and over and over. They have burnout. And there's missed opportunities. We, in my opinion, are the #1 trainer for leaders in the world. And every year between our clubs and district leaders, we provide over 1,000 leadership opportunities throughout the organization. It's fantastic. Actually, that's a low number. Anyway, for members, it gets hard to put on quality meetings, right? Participants are playing multiple roles. And when we surveyed our membership when I was on the board, the number one thing our members want when they speak is an audience. It's no fun to practice your speech, work on it, practice it over and over. Your dog knows all the gestures and you show up and there's 3 people at the meeting or 7 people. It's just not the same thing. And absences really hurt. Like was mentioned, not everybody can make every meeting. Well, if you have 20 members in your club, missing 2, that's okay. We can get by with 18. But if we have a 10-member club and we're missing 2, wow, we're really hurting. And if you have a guest that attends a meeting where they see that somebody stands up, they give the invocation of pledge, they get called for table topics, they speak and they evaluate the other speaker. And at the end of the meeting, you say, hey, you want to join? Heck no, this is too much work. So that's why getting back to 20 is such an important thing. The truth of the matter is attrition is normal in Toastmasters. And I hear candidates running for the board always talking about this. We need to solve this. It's just intrinsic in our program. People have their various reasons for joining, and many are trying to overcome a fear of public speaking. And unfortunately, by the time they've given 6 speeches, we find on average, that's the average before they quit. They say, oh, I'm feeling comfortable. Thank you, Toastmasters, and they leave. It's our job as leaders to make sure they have new goals and they continue to work the program. But also life changes happen. I know one of the members of one of my clubs, they had their 2nd child. And with their 2nd child, the wife had taken on extra duties at work, and he was no longer able to participate in the club because he had to step it up at home with 2 babies. It was more than his wife could handle by herself. So he had to drop out of our club. We've also had people that have earned promotions because of Toastmasters, actually, but now they no longer had the ability to participate. So, attrition is normal. The fact of the matter is, if you're not building, you're dying. And every club should be looking to bring in, on average, 1 new member every month to stay there. But sometimes it doesn't quite work out that way. And of course, COVID has really changed the landscape temporarily. I hope you clubs will get back to meeting in person as soon as possible, because for me, the in-person experience is far better than the online experience. Our online, it was mentioned, I'm in 4 clubs. 3 of those clubs are meeting in person again. I'm in Orange County, so that helps. And the people that joined while we were online are just shocked by how much they are now growing, how much different it is, how much better it is being in person. So why Speechcraft? Well, we want to get a quick infusion of 10 to 15 members into your club. And the way I'm going to talk about this, I'm really putting this, we're aiming this at clubs that are having low membership, that are having trouble putting on quality programs meeting after meeting. It's a way for you to get a quick infusion of members. You can also use this as a tool to get back people that might have been inactive and ask them to help mentor the Speechcrafters. Now they have a reason to attend. You might be able to re-engage them. The wonderful thing is we also will allow our speakers to continue through the Toastmasters program. They can continue to work pathways for the existing members. Quite often I hear, and I know in Pathways there are more projects where they do assign you a topic, but quite often I've heard the comment over the years, gee, I just don't know what I want to speak about. I'm assigned, but I don't know what to speak about. Well, great. We're having a Speechcraft meeting next week, and we need a presentation on how to organize a speech. So if you would prepare that, we're going to give you credit for it in your pathways. So it's going to count towards your progression, but we're going to give you the topic. All right. And for the people that join Speechcraft, after the Speechcraft, it gives them a quick infusion, a quick start into Toastmasters. In fact, I've done Speechcraft a number of times, and I will occasionally allow brand new members that have just joined to also participate in the Speechcraft so they can get a jump start in the Toastmasters program. So what is a Speechcraft? Well, Speechcraft is its own self-contained speech course, a public speaking course. It's normally 6 to 8 weeks long, and you can modify it, whatever your club wants to do, however you want to do it. It's normally for non-Toastmasters. Like I said, I've allowed brand new members to sometimes participate. I have no problem with that. But if somebody is 3 or 4 speeches into the program, Speechcraft really is not our target market for that. So what we want to do is we want to market Speechcraft, and some people don't like that term Speechcraft. I personally have no problem with it, but if you don't like it, fine, call it whatever you want, a public speaking course. You want to market this to non-Toastmasters, and you could talk to them about improving your communication skills, having yourself become more marketable as an employee if you want to advance your career and get an edge in today's job market. Now, a lot of the lower paying jobs, they're having trouble finding people that want to work at Wendy's and McDonald's. But what I'm seeing in the corporate world, where the positions are higher salary and higher skill level required, it's still a very competitive job market. And what I want you to do is we want to charge $80 to $100, but this is not a fundraiser. I want to say this right up front. We're not marketing this as a fundraiser, but that's a lot of money. And so what I always offer is a money back guarantee. So you say, look, if let's say you're doing an 8-week session, attend 7 out of the 8 sessions. And if you don't feel you got your money's worth, we will refund your money. Attend 5 out of the 6 sessions if you're doing a 6-week session. And if you don't feel like you got your money's worth, we'll refund your money.
Hey,
Now, yes.
Al, quick question. What does that money go, what is that money for? I think the incoming participants need to know what it's for.
I will explain that. I will explain it. Now, the Speechcraft participants are paying that money for the course. Okay. They're paying for a program. And even at $100, that's still a very good deal if you compare it to the cost of even a community college course, right? It's still a bargain. And again, there's the money back guarantee. And what I find is that because they have paid for it, you're going to have a higher return out. I think for clubs that have a dinner as associated with their meeting, if you charged everybody for the meals at the time of you collecting dues, and I'm not recommending you do this, I'm just putting forth the hypothesis. If you did collect for the dues, the meals at the time you collected dues, you probably get a bigger turnout at your meetings, because if somebody was a little iffy, like, I'm not sure I feel like going to the meeting tonight, and they go, wait a minute, I've already paid for the meal. I need to go. They're going to show up. And again, with that money back guarantee, they're going to feel better with that. And I will explain where that money goes in just a minute. So hang on to that. We want to limit to 15 openings. And the reason is that that creates a sense of urgency. If you're a community club, let's say you're in Bakersfield, and you say, we're limiting this to 15 people. That's not a lot of people. Okay. And I heard somebody from Ridgecrest, even in Ridgecrest, 15 people. It's not a lot. Okay. If you're in a company, it's not a lot, unless you're a very, very small company, which would need to be an open club then anyway. It creates a sense of urgency. Now, Toastmasters has redone Speechcraft, and it's now in digital format. And the way it works is you have to buy the digital bundles in groups of 5 Speechcrafters. So the cost is $50 for 2 Toastmasters International for each 5 Speechcrafters. All right. Now you can buy multiple bundles. So like I said, I try to do 15. And so if you're having 15 members in your Speechcraft, then you would, or not members, but I mean prospects, participants, you would buy 3 of these bundles. And so that would be $150 cost to the club. Now, if you only have, this is the downside of their new format. Let's say you only have 13 people participating in your Speechcraft. All right. You still have to pay for 15. So the club has to recover the cost for the entire 15 and not just the 13 that are actually participating. All right. But you can assign those bundles a start date, and you can have multiple bundles going together at the same time. And once you assign a start date, and you will also have an end date for your Speechcraft, all of those individual Speechcrafters, their participation or access to the program, which is in online, it's similar to Pathways, that ends 90 days. It expires 90 days after the final session of the Speechcraft. However, that time clock only starts once you assign that end date. So if you, let's say you were going to do this in May of 2022, May of 2022, next year, I wouldn't buy the digital bundle now and already assign that date. I would wait till we're closer. And as long as you don't have a start date, it can be left in limbo indefinitely. And I checked this with World Headquarters. Matt's his name. So if this comes out, Matt was the guy I talked to. The only issue is, let's say you buy the Speechcraft bundles now, but you don't use them for 2 years. Then the only problem is you cannot get a refund after a year has passed. So they can sit there in limbo until you assign that start and end date indefinitely. But after a year, you cannot get a refund. Any questions on the digital bundle? Because this is new. All right. So here's the thing. All right. So here's an actual flyer that I used many years ago. I've updated it with current branding and current pricing. But what you do is, this is a flyer that you could put up in a department store, in a library, or you could make it into an email if it's a corporation and distribute it within the organization. You could put it up in a community center. Speechcraft is a program designed to develop and strengthen the fundamentals of effective speaking skills in a seminar workshop format. And then I give the dates and the times, the conference room, the location. And then it's always great to have a quote to have people to reference it. And so this was a controller of this major company. And he said, gave us a quote right there. And then you can see, I say right there, $100 money back guarantee, only 15 openings available. Make your reservations now. We're creating a sense of urgency. Guys, you need to do this. And when I was doing this in the corporate environment, it was funny. One time we were doing a Speechcraft and we had our 15 spots filled. And I had somebody that contacted me and he said, hey, I'd like to be a part of this. And I said, I'm sorry, our current one is filled, but we're going to put you on the waiting list for the next one. And that was great, because the next time we did it, we already had a waiting list. That was fantastic. Here's another flyer you could do. This is a more, one by Toastmasters International, where you filled in the blank.
Okay, never mind.
And by the way, this presentation has been shared with the district. And so Debbie, I don't care if you share that with everybody. I don't feel like, give me credit if you reuse it, but I don't mind if everybody has a copy of this. Now, at the end of the Speechcraft, what we want to do is we want to close. The objective is to have these people join Toastmasters, right? And so it's super important that your Speechcraft meetings happen on the same night at the same location as your regular club meetings. If you're doing it online right now, of course, those logistics aren't as complicated. But what you don't want to do is have the Speechcraft done on a Tuesday night, your club meets on Wednesday night, and have somebody say, oh, I'd love to join your club, but Wednesday night is my church group night or my bowling league night, so I'm not available. You want to make sure you're doing the Speechcraft at the same location, the same time, so they get in the habit of attending those meetings with that location. Also, by having those existing members come back and mentor the Speechcrafters, they're building camaraderie. They're building a sense of community within the club. And what's wonderful for the Speechcrafters, they're each seeing how everybody else has been growing through the program. And here's the close at the end of the sale. You say, look, you developed a skill, and if you quit now, you're obviously better off than if you had not participated in this program at all. However, and if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. You want to stay in practice. And what we're offering to you is to have you join our Toastmasters Club. You already know these people. You've been coming to our location. And if you join upon completion of the Speechcraft, here's what we're going to do. First of all, your dues and new member fee are covered for the first 6 months. So there's no additional cost for you to join the club. To answer the earlier question about the $100, that's what we're doing with that extra money. We're applying it towards the membership application and the 6 months dues. And so there's no additional cost for the Speechcrafter to join the club upon completion. Also, you're going to get credit for all the speeches you gave during the Speechcraft. And in some cases, again, depending on how long your Speechcraft is structured, they may already have completed level 1. They're going to get credit for level 1 right out of the box by joining your club. And Toastmasters International does support this. It's tied together that this is 100% approved. Now, what's great about this is that the club ends up getting good members. And by the way, as was mentioned in my introduction, using this technique, I have an 80% success rate of getting the Speechcrafters to become members. That's so out of 15 Speechcrafters, I get 12 into the club. Now, if we get 12 new members in that club, is that satisfy your membership requirement no matter where you started as the year towards the Distinguished Club program? The answer is yes.
Yes.
Yes, it does. It does. And those of you that are close, I looked at some of them, some clubs, they're at 16 members, some are at 18, but they're still not quite at 20. So if they don't get to 20, they won't qualify for the program next year. So you want to make sure this is going to be an over boost. And again, is it okay to have 25, 28 members in your club?
I can answer that. Of course.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you, Deborah. And what's great about this is the club is going to get good members. Now, my clubs don't meet weekly. They meet every other week or second and fourth Tuesday or Thursday, whatever the club is. But when we conduct a Speechcraft, it's every week. Why? Because we don't want this to drag out for months. If I'm doing an 8-week program, I don't want it to go over 2 months. I want it, I don't want it to go over 4 months. I want it to be 8 weeks that is in a weekly basis. So it's done after 2 months. Now, these people, they've been active. They've been speaking just about every meeting. And when they find out, oh, going forward, it's only twice a month, they're actually relieved. It's like, oh, great. This is great. Because that pace was quite a bit much for me. But they're used to attending. They're used to participating. These are great members that are going to join your club. And if you conduct a Speechcraft, it could count as a high performance leadership project. Okay. So you would need to get an advisory team in place. You'd learn about the 6 dimensions of leadership. So that's another benefit if you chose to coordinate, if you chose to count that for your Speechcraft. So what I would encourage you to do is make it happen. Set a date and execute a Speechcraft for your club. If you could use the new members, and I know all of you can, why not use this as a tool? Speechcraft is our #1 membership tool. And by attracting people that aren't currently Toastmasters, indoctrinating them and getting them a quick start in the Toastmasters program, at the end of the program, offering that, hey, it doesn't cost you anything more to join our club. You can already get started, say for the first 6 months, it's not a lifetime membership, but your dues are already covered, and then you can continue with the program. And that's my presentation. Any questions?
Alfred, way back in the beginning, Leslie Boyle had a question for you. She wanted to know why we can't start with a smaller number of people to start a club and build up to 20.
Well, because you have that same situation. 20 is the number so that you don't have multiple people doing multiple things and overwhelming the people. It also gives you an appropriate pool that you can have your 7 elected club leaders. And I feel very strongly that if I cannot find 20 excited people to charter a club when the idea is fresh and new, we're just creating problems down the road for the district, that they're just going to be a problem child, a low membership count down the road. So I feel very strongly that 20 is the right number. 20 is required to charter, because you want to have those groups start together, have that energy, have that enthusiasm. Like I said, if you have only 12, that's not going to be the same experience for the speakers as well when they're presenting to the club. So yeah, that's the reason for 20.
Alfred, Mary Elaine, may I?
Hi, Mary.
Mary Elaine.
Hi, Mary Elaine.
I've been Toastmasters for years, and I actually charted and started one in 2007.
Thank you.
We go up and down, of course, and that's what this is. But I started I started this in 2007 with a Speechcraft, but that was 2007, okay? But now that we have, how do you now, who is going to do, when you have a club going, who is going to do the Speechcraft? Who?
Well, you would need to select somebody in the club that would take that on as a duty. That would be the coordinator. So you need somebody in the club to be the coordinator to take that on. And
So,
you know, it
well,
could be the vice president of membership, but it doesn't have to be. Obviously, this is a membership issue, but it would just be somebody that'd be willing to take it on to be the coordinator. And by the way, being the coordinator is not that big of a deal, because as soon as you get into the program, the speech crafters take over the heavy lifting. They're doing the speaking, they're doing the evaluating, they're doing the content of the meeting. And so it's very easy.
well, is there 13 roles in the Speechcraft?
No, 13 roles in the club meeting, like
Yeah, I
timer,
know.
a speaker,
Right.
evaluator, general evaluator. You
I
count
know.
up all those. Yeah, no, I'm sorry if you've
How
misunderstood.
many roles, how many people are to perform a Speechcraft? How many people needed?
You
Just
only need one coordinator,
no, a coordinator or somebody, just one person to do the, with 15 people. Just one person is going to do a Speechcraft, just one person.
One person, no, wait a minute. One person is the coordinator, but you're doing it in the club environment. So let's say you have an 8-member club. You still want all 8 members still at that club meeting. This is not a separate thing that the club members aren't participating.
I missed that. I totally missed that.
Okay, I apologize if I didn't make that clear. These Speechcraft meetings take over your club meetings at the same time, same location with your club members. And it's a way to re-engage members that may have become inactive because they just were getting bored with the program. They weren't enjoying it anymore. Hey, we'd love to have you come back because we have these brand new people and they could really use the mentoring and expertise and advice that you could provide them. Now they have a reason to come back. So it's an opportunity to re-engage members as well.
I thought it was a separate entity. Thank you, thank you.
Alfred, we're starting to back up here on some questions. Can we go ahead and move on to the next question?
Yes, please.
We had Yingming Lee. Ying, you want to unmute and ask your question?
Sure. Okay, I want to make a comment. Now, watch that. I was doing the, what you call the warp speed anyway. Now, I actually joined the Toastmaster back in 1986 because of Speechcraft.
Okay.
Because I was afraid of a bigger assignment. When I saw the program, I said, oh, only give 6 speeches. That's manageable. Once I joined it, everything was going good. And along the way, I have conducted quite a few. Now, I'm in Ridgecrest. Our club has 25 members now in a small town.
Awesome.
When I came over here 2009, we had only 4 members left. Now, all the members besides me started 2015 and later because I conduct about 2 or 3 Speechcraft in between.
Wonderful.
Was able to hold in people, bring people in, done that. And that also some people got the high performance leadership out of that, become a DTM and other things.
Mm-hmm.
So Speechcraft really worked out good. I did about 4 or 5 of them along the way this many years. Every time you get, I didn't get as good as you did, like 80%. I got maybe 50, 60% people actually join the club. And
But were you charging enough so they didn't have any additional cost to join the club afterwards?
Correct. We give them 6 months free.
Okay.
Typically. Yeah,
Okay.
you know, just like you did.
Okay.
And you got to have a carrot for them to come in.
Exactly. But
so
I
that's
love
pretty
what
much
you're saying there because you did something wonderful. A mistake I've seen people do is they sign up the speech crafters at the beginning as Toastmasters. Since we already have the money, we're going to go ahead and submit the application. No. Your people have signed up for a 6 or 8 week program. That's all we're committing them to. And then at the end of the program, it's their decision if they choose to move forward. I love what you did there and bless you. I think that's amazing what you've done. And you've shown the results. Okay, you may not have gotten 80%. By the way, a division director did my approach for Speechcraft in downtown Los Angeles. He had 100% of the Speechcrafters join. And Greg Scott past international director, past District 12 district governor, did a Speechcraft like this style and chartered a club out of it at the University of Riverside.
Okay, can we move on to the next question, please? We got
Yes.
a lot of hands still raised. Could we go to Alan Mann? He's been here for a long time.
Thank you. So it sounds like the way a Speechcraft is done, because it's been many years since I've been involved with one, is that it's run at the same time during your meeting, except those people as part of the Speechcraft aren't. They're sort of like temporary members that you want to convert to full-time members at the end. Is that sort of?
Well, the way I would characterize it is our club meetings for the next 8 meetings or next 8 weeks, is going to be Speechcraft. That is the club meeting. And club members, we still need you here because we need you to mentor them.
Yeah.
You will have roles that you will be doing. Obviously, in the very first Speechcraft meeting, you can't have Speechcrafters already being timer, already being evaluating. So the first couple meetings, you're going to actually have to have members acting as the evaluators till the Speechcrafters have enough experience that,
Yeah.
okay, now they can start evaluating each other. So it does take over the existing meeting.
Just quick question. Can you run a Speechcraft if your club is meeting only twice a month?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Like I
okay.
said, my clubs meet
Okay.
twice a month and we did it weekly. But if you didn't have that capability to meet in those alternating weeks, like my community club right now, we have another club that meets in the same room on the alternating Tuesdays. So it wouldn't be a possibility.
Okay.
That's fine, but you can stretch it out. So in that case, you might not want to do an 8-week. I personally wouldn't like to see a 4-week course. I think that's a little short, but a 6-week definitely would work.
6 weeks,
6
6 week
meeting would be good.
Speechcraft in a club that does. I joined 28 years ago, about 2 weeks into my Speechcraft.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Bless you. Another success story. Next question.
Okay, we got Leslie Boyle out there. Leslie, you want to unmute?
Thank you, David. Alfred, thank you for this opportunity. I wanted to go back to a question that David Loman read to you, my question about the size of the clubs. And I understand that the 20 is the official magic number for running a successful club. But the problem I ran into was when we were trying to start this new club, we had 20, and they were showing up regularly. We did not sign anybody up. We were new at trying to sign up clubs.
Okay, that
and
was a mistake.
Yeah, only 10 would actually wanted to pay. And then the other 10 didn't, and we couldn't officially start the club. We couldn't get them using pathways, and they lost interest and the club just fizzled out. That's
Okay.
why I was concerned that maybe in starting a new club, we could start with a lower number and be officially found and searched online and then
Yeah.
grow the club to 20.
Yeah, no, again, no, I'm not casting aspersions at what anybody did, but what you want to do ideally is have a launch meeting, have 30 people there ideally, and get your 20 right then, and you charter in one meeting and you move forward. I hear these horror stories of clubs where they have one launch meeting and there's 8 people there, and then they do another one, and it's 6 or 8, 9 months and they still aren't at their 20. Let's go to the next question. We're running out of time. Thank you, Leslie. Appreciate that. Etta, let's go with you. Etta.
Okay, I got Ryan Cryle waiting out there. Ryan?
Okay, Ryan, I'm sorry, Ryan, and then Etta.
Thank you, David and Alfred. My quick question is really simple. Can you break down a little bit more for me the fee, how that works? And because I know like 10 goes to the Speechcraft and then 45 right now goes to the other. Where does the other?
Okay, there's the new member fee too. So if you're doing the full 6 months, you have 20 plus 45, that's 65 right off the bat to international, plus a minimum of 10, that's 75 to go for the Speechcraft. But you have to cover the fact that if you have to buy them in groups of 5, but you only use 2 of them, you have 3 that you have paid for that you have to recover the cost for.
Okay. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, thank you.
You're
Thank you very
welcome.
much, Ryan.
And
Okay,
I'm
we still
seeing
have-
that I
we
see
still
the
have
red
8
is up. So thank you so much. I love the interaction. I love the excitement, and I'll be around. Send me private chats. I'll be happy to answer any additional questions. I return contact back to our district.
Thank you so much, Alfred. Let's give a round of applause for that outstanding